Moving on from your Mindent page, you can now move on to creating sentences simply for one of your senses at a time. So if you look at the two that I have got here on the board for you, you'll notice that there's a mixture of blue and red writing. Now, if we consider the blue writing first, that is my initial first sentence, which I have then added to, either crossing out or upscaling vocabulary choices using the red. So focusing on the sight first, my initial sentence said, looking up, I notice a wall of high-rise flats. They look down on me. Now, whilst that is a good sentence to start with, if we're looking for a really descriptive sentence, I know that there was some work that we could have obviously worked on from that. So, focusing on my very first word, looking at the word looking, I considered various words that I could switch for this, and I decided on gazing. So rather than using looking up, I've changed it to gazing up through squinted eyes, because by telling somebody that you're looking through squinted eyes, gazing, it's giving more of an atmospheric description to the way in which the character is looking. Okay, so moving on to my second edit, which was the high-rise flats, I moved that to tower blocks, and again, the second way that I use the word looking, I've changed that to glaring. So the tower blocks, rather than looking down on me, I said that the tower blocks were glaring down on me, because again, if we're thinking about atmospheric language, if I suggest that somebody looks at me and then changing it to somebody glaring at me, it creates a very emotional, it's quite a daunting, it's quite aggressive, it's an intimidating way of explaining something. So my high-rise flats turned to tower blocks that glared down on me, domineering and harsh like a guard watching over prisoners. Now, for those eagle-eye pupils of mine who I know we have lots of, will notice that I have in fact used a simile at the bottom. I've used a simile to describe the way in which the tower blocks are looking down on me. I describe them as being like a guard watching over prisoners, therefore again almost intensifying the fact that I am feeling really little beneath a wall of tower blocks which are obviously looking down upon me.